if you eat a certain number of a certain type of fruit, you will be protected all day from both magic and poison. What? It says that? Newton nearly shouted. Does it say that the sun sets in murky springs, prostrates on the throne of Bob before asking permission to rise again? Gustav thought for a moment and said, no, nothing quite that backward, but I nearly cracked a smile when it went into depth of how solar eclipses are created. Oh, I can imagine, smiled Newton. But look here. So this book has some really stupid, evil things in it. That's not the thing that is important here, people. What is important is finding out what we can do that will not only free those people, those poor souls down there from such an evil piece of lying garbage, but also make it so Bob will never show his ugly weird-beard face on this planet ever again. Gad. Stars attacking in the atmosphere under a well-guarded canopy that is supposed to be in the sky, made of ocean water, the sun and moon ride in, over their heads by the power of Bob. How incredibly stupid! Sheena added, and again, the sun and moon in this book are supposed to be the parents of the Potsdamers? Well, that takes a cake, said Newton. You can't say the god of Ramada doesn't have a sense of humor in its lies. There was a pause. 10 hours until the people face the absorber, Newton, said Upakova. Newton told his crew in 10 hours he wanted broadcast all over Potsdam, that Operation Potsdam Freedom would commence, beginning not only with the destruction of the absorber, but that it would be desecrated as well, proving that Bob might be able to take a good punch from a giant of his own size, but is nothing when it came to the weapons of Mutainia. And, said Newton with growing excitement, when they see the destruction and desecration of that monstrous golden dome, they will know that they will know then and there that there is no Bog. All that recitation of creating the planet in mere seconds a total lie. And if there is a god called Bog, he is quite powerless against someone else's technology. Bog? asked Sheena. You said Bog. Oops, wrong devil. Bog is my Bob to deal with. Our Bob, said the crew in unison. How do you think we go about desecrating the absorber, though? How do you think we go about desecrating the absorber, Newton? asked Wuyu. We will beam up kumbo trees, extract their sap, turn it into waxy, unclean kumbo grease, materialize vats of the stuff in the remains of the golden dome after we destroy it, and mix it all up with conventional explosive that Potsdamers will then know they are free. Know that there is no god called Bob, no creation of Potsdamar in mere seconds. That Bob, if there was a Bob, could have protected his house. 9 hours later, it was dawn over the golden dome that was the absorber of life forces. On Mutainia, Newton and his crew were preparing for their attack. All over the planet, the repeated message was seen and heard on every radio station and TV station that those in the area of the absorber had better flee out of the danger because although Mutainia was going to destroy it to set them free, they didn't know what would happen when it was destroyed. Discouragement was seen in Newton's eyes when he saw floods of Potsdamers coming to the absorber, doing the opposite of what he wanted. They believed that if they died at the absorber, they'd go straight to Ramada. With that, Newton tried to tell them to at least wait a few days and ask themselves why Bob, if he really was so powerful, would allow his feeding source to not only be destroyed, but desecrated. Still, though, they continue to flood in and circle the absorber. In his throne, Newton looked at Wuyu and said, no doubt the Holy Helpers are also telling Bob his house is about to be blasted. Newton then said, how much you want to bet that there really aren't that many true holy helpers down there. You said there were thousands of those things down there, like the one I fought? I doubt it. Probably more like a handful. The one who didn't melt into the ground, and the ones who ran off, and the ones that supposedly looked like regular Patamars to spy and inform, were and are, no doubt, just sellouts from Patamar, who fell into the afterlife lies of Ramada. But, it doesn't matter if there are millions of those things down there, like the one I fought. I'm certain that they only exist because the Golden Dome exists. We take that out, they cease to exist. We bury the remains of the Golden Dome in a bunch of unholy Kumbha wax, and then the faith in the religion of Ramada crumbles. How can it not? But, gad, look at the poor fools coming. Well, hopefully there is no explosion. Hopefully they might. Hopefully they might. Hopefully the might of our phaser just takes the life out of Bob, and he dies in trying to keep the shielding on. Hopefully. Nutan looked at his crew and said, "You know something? Although incredibly oppressive this thing is, they will still face the absorber. Probably all of them. I say we begin our attack before it starts absorbing the energy. Sure, it taxes its energy to feed off of theirs, but I bet that if we attack now, maybe it will be weak enough to get through and destroy that structure now." Suddenly, before Nutan can carry out an attack on the Golden Dome, the Mutainia's crew's eyes widened when their broadcast was interrupted and replaced by a stronger TV signal. A news report from a city that hadn't been destroyed suddenly showed the face of the same. A news report from a city that hadn't been destroyed suddenly showed the face of the same holy helper that Nutan fought with when he and his crew beamed down to ask questions about the planet Ramada. The holy helper had a peaceful look on his face as he said, "Oh, fellow Patamars, our beloved god Bob was attacked by the demonic mutant Nutan, destroyer of worlds. Nutan came in giant form to destroy merciful Bob, but Bob was, of course, by far the stronger. When Nutan realized he couldn't defeat almighty Bob, he cowardly turned his evil wrath on one of Patamar's cities, a city that was showing disobedience toward Bob. Bob tried to stop him, in spite of the city's wickedness, as this video footage shows. But apparently, the evil, cowardly Nutan then felt the need to call down the power of his ship Mutainia to destroy the city, using his fury on Bob to bring about the horrible destruction you see. Nutan was actually using our own God's ability to reanimate, to destroy that beautiful city and its inhabitants. But fear not, fellow Patamars. Bob will destroy Mutainia as easily as he destroyed its cowardly, demonic Captain Nutan today. Observe how Bob shrank Nutan up in the fight to the point where he easily stepped on him. No doubt, it was Bob saying, 'Be small,' and Nutan was." Nutan just stood there, shaking with near insane anger. "Why, that evil, lying sack of..." Nutan said with bulging eyes. Cleo then said, According to the holy, worship me only or else. One can lie in war. Also, one can lie to friends and to one's family." Sheena looked confused and said, "When are you supposed to tell the truth then?" Callisto thought and said, "I don't think it ever says." "No, it doesn't." Jason turned toward Obakova, got control of himself and said, "Obakova, phaser's ready?" "Ah, phaser's ready," replied Obakova, who who would be doing the attacking. Fire! Roared Nutan with near unspeakable fury.